the biggest part for your SEO is going to be the guest blog posting on the podcast. And number two is repurposing your video into pages that are along these things
right.
that are obvious. There he is.
Hey, Dennis.
How you doing, Mr. Nick?
Doing well.
Imagine that, being on video with the video guy himself.
I guess so. Yeah, actually, I got my wrong camera turned on, so let me switch to my fancy camera real quick. There we go.
Fancy. There you go.
So how's everything going? It's nice to meet you. I've been following you on Facebook for a long time now. So
all right, well, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm in Dallas today, hanging with some friends.
What's that?
I'm in Dallas today, hanging out with some friends.
Are you down there for anything in particular, or just visiting?
Visiting, yeah. My dentist.
I thought I saw somebody. One of my other friends was down in Dallas for like Tom Ferry's event. So I don't know if you had the same reason to be there or not.
Yeah. Tom Ferry and I have a masterclass on digital marketing.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, there you go.
I know you're also real estate.
Today, but,
have you seen it?
Yeah. Do you do a lot with real estate yourself, or?
We have a lot, just because there's a lot of real estate entrepreneurs.
Right.
But yeah, check this out. So let me share my screen. I've done a bunch of stuff with Jason too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. This is
That's
the
awesome.
fact like a year or two ago.
Yeah, as I say, looks you lost some weight, huh?
Yeah, but this is a good one, and he shared this across all the other channels, and there's other stuff we're going to do with it. But if you see the feedback, it's pretty much awesome. All incredible. Yeah,
that's cool. What did you guys talk about in the class there?
Everything to do with digital, social media, websites, SEO, 1-minute videos, TikTok, agencies, LSA, all that stuff. Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah,
yeah, and
awesome.
This has driven us a bunch of clients. I also coach a lot of agencies that do real estate. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, we're not trying to compete against these agencies, rather just funnel stuff
trying to help them out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'd love to hear more about kind of your business model and how you do things. Cause I know you work, you're a marketer, but you also work with a lot of marketers. And I know that can be kind of sensitive with how competitive marketers can be. So
competitive at all. Like we drive referrals all day long.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, you find the right kind of partnerships. I mean, we're kind of getting to that point in our business too, where we're starting to explore more opportunities for partnerships as an avenue for growth. So yeah, it's cool. We've actually, at some point I talked to somebody on Tom Ferry's staff who weren't quite ready to do anything yet, but they were obviously open to the idea. There's not many, there's starting to be more of it, but there's not many sort of comprehensive training programs for video. So we tend to be a good kind of partnership opportunity for companies. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You want to cover the SEO audit, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we are not doing very well. It's not a strong area of ours, but I'd love to hear what you think for sure. So
you rank on 46 keywords on your site. Have you seen anything like this before? Has anyone showed you this?
We have not. No. So we I have a little background in SEO from my previous work in a marketing agency, but we set all this up and, we kind of did what we could, but I'm not really, not our area of expertise. So how does that, I mean, what is ranking for that many keywords a good or bad thing? Is that?
Well, I mean, are your glasses half full or glasses half empty kind of guy? I mean,
I'm happy to hear the critique. That's for sure.
I can give it to you really, really nice, or I can be more blunt and fast, or it's however you want it.
You can be blunt. No, we're fine here. Yeah. I'm happy. Whatever helps us get better is all I'm looking for. So
okay. So hey, Mandy. Mandy wants to be hanging out with us.
Oh, nice.
So no, I like Mandy. I think Mandy's amazing. Yeah, she's great. I don't think you can be unhappy with Mandy around.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah. So you, by nature of what you do, which is B2B to C, helping real estate agents with all the most basic questions and issues with overcoming fear of video and whatnot, you kind of don't need SEO because it's more about reaching who it is than what.
Right. Okay.
But just for fun, I did a little research to see what are the questions that real estate agents are having when it comes to video. And you've seen all these same FAQ kinds of things, like what kind of camera. They have this preconceived notion that they need to hire a video editor, and there's all this fancy stuff versus simple selfie style, as they're going about, simple things like this. Like these are things that you already teach on. But when I do a search, site colon, which is saying how many pages are there on Biz Video School, there's 15 results. So the irony is you've made a lot of videos, But the reason why the SEO isn't happening is that there's three main reasons. One is that you've not repurposed those videos into articles.
Okay.
Which seems ironic for Google, but when we Google your name, we see some videos pop up, but they are not, there's these videos that pop up and there's these pictures and videos. And there's some other dude who's like I don't think that's you, some other coach somewhere, like a sports team coach or.
Yeah. I've been trying to outrank him over the years.
This guy,
Right.
I don't think that's you. And there's not a lot that shows up for you. And your LinkedIn and Instagram outrank your website. Your website's basically nowhere to be found on your name. And then this other cross-country coach guy shows up in number 3. So you already know this, right?
Right.
And what we'd like to have is a knowledge panel, which would show that you're authoritative.
Right. Okay.
Easiest way to get a knowledge panel is to publish a book, even if it's literally taking portions of the training that you have, run them through Descript, ChatGPT, all that stuff, and then just turn it into a book just so that you can claim authorship when people search Nick Niehaus, right?
Okay.
And that's what I did too. I never give advice that I've not taken myself and done many times myself.
Cool.
So I'm not giving you anything that isn't like super obvious. But when you search here on Dennis Yu.
Yeah. So that's the knowledge panel there at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the knowledge panel. The knowledge panel is sort of an L shape upside down. There's this component here. Same shows on mobile if you search on my name. And then it has all these other components like, Larry Kim, Mary Smith, Seth, this kind of books, bio information. Your Twitter should show up if it's connected properly.
Okay.
You claim your profile and getting verified on Google, which is not the same thing as blue check. It's a different thing. It's very easy to get verified on Google.
Okay.
So if you can find your knowledge panel ID, I wasn't able to find it, but I'm sure if I do enough searching, we can, or maybe it's not even, I don't know. You've not found or claimed your knowledge panel, right?
I don't think so. No. So
you just need to find and trigger it. And then you get verified on Google, and then you manage that knowledge panel to influence Google. You can't force Google, but you can influence them. And then this kind of stuff will show up. And then you can see PAA, that people also ask you to search. Google's showing more of these AI powered sorts of results increasingly because, for obvious reasons. But here, like PAA, what is dollar a day? Who runs Blitz metrics? There's all these things that people are asking these kinds of questions, right? And then here's other kinds of questions that people have, right?
Got it. Okay.
You just need to make sure that's there. But the other thing too is that ironically, you rank on Video School, even though I know your focus is for the real estate agents. And you rank on business video, which is still low competitive, keyword difficulty 29, 12.
Right.
And there's other things here. I mean, this carries no traffic, but free TikTok videos, BBS, which is something else. I don't think there's a lot of acronyms like this, but it's interesting because when you look at it in terms of what does Google think about your site, you would think it'd be super obvious that it's in-depth video training for real estate agents.
Right. However, but we're coming up in a lot of school searches. Yeah.
Ask you, why do you think of these terms you rank for, none of them seem to be for real estate agents?
Well, we must not be talking about it enough on the site or putting enough emphasis on it, I would think.
Yeah. So even though on your homepage, you say something about for real estate agents, the majority, like here you say, real estate professionals, and even in the videos themselves, you say, you have that here, but there's not enough. And you need articles that will say that go by the different phases of what a real estate agent does.
Right.
So when they have a new listing, when they're looking for buyer leads, seller leads, all the different topics that make it very obvious it's for real estate agents. And then like an FAQ page, and the most common questions that real estate agents ask about video. How does video for real estate agents rank into generating more listings or generate, all these things that really show that signal, because you're so deep on the video itself that it doesn't appear obvious to Google that it's for us, it's obvious, but you would think Google would be super smart about this, but they actually don't capture that.
Yeah. So I know obviously you saw we have a lot of videos we've created on this stuff. Is it as simple as just sort of stripping the transcript from the video and reposting that as a blog post with the video?
And using Link Whisper and Rank Math as two tools to help you kind of tune it for each page ranking on a particular keyword. And then the page linking together, so you distribute the internal link juice. You only have a DR6, so it's not like you have a ton of juice to be able to distribute. So here you have a 6, right?
Mm.
Which then lets you rank on these other keywords. So the six is super low. You really should be like 40, 50 plus.
Oh, okay.
And it comes from these links that you have. So a couple of these are decent.
Right.
If you're on other people's podcasts and those podcasts are about real estate or about digital marketing, which, you're sort of at the intersection of those two. So either of those two are topical. But outside of that, you don't have really like these sites. The domain rating is all like super low.
Yeah.
See.
Sure. I mean, I don't know how we're related to some of these.
You have a DR6, the sum total of the power that you have is a DR6. So you're only able to rank on low difficulty keywords because your site, it only has a certain amount of juice to even pass to the pages. So even if you make these new pages and you link between them, there's only so much juice to pass.
Got it. Okay. So if I'm doing, it sounds like because I have actually been kind of making a push to get interviewed on more podcasts. So
yeah,
I guess I should be like reaching out and asking them to link to our site. Is that kind of the?
Yes, but the way you do it, Nick, is you say you have your assistant, ideally one of the VAs, or you can if you want, reach out and say, wow, Nick really enjoyed being on your podcast so much that we created, 7 things to learn about whatever, like some of the highlights of the podcast, and he would love to submit that. We wrote this for you as a guest post. And we would love to put this as a guest post for your audience. And then when it goes live, we like to promote that. We'll promote that article, this blog post on your site that, talks about your host and Nick, and we're going to share it on social media. We're going to run $1 a day against it. And so whoever's in charge of the site, either the host, or if they have a larger team, then their digital person or marketing person was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And that way you've already pre-written that post for them using, obviously you can transcribe it and use ChatGPT and whatever to make it nice and add pictures and things like that. Right. And then from that blog post, you just have 1 or 2 links, your main link.
Right.
Hey, your business video school. Because if
you the ball, sure to play.
She wants to play. She brings all kinds of stuff. But if you ask them to write the blog post, they usually people will never get around to it because it's too much effort. Right. And if you write the blog post and you say, hey, it's based on our episode, we pulled the highlights out. People almost always say yes to that. And then you get these great links.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the way to build your SEO. That's why you can't hire an SEO agency.
Right.
Because it's based on your relationships, right? Like I know a lot about SEO, but I can't lose weight for you, for example, right? I can't do that. Like I can do everything else. I can coach you. I can give you advice. I can give you the analytics here, but the 80% of the power of SEO is people linking to you. And that has to be your relationships.
That makes sense. Yeah. I know that's changed.
You got these great lead magnets, checklists. You have all these things. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have great SEO, meaning getting a lot of search traffic from real estate agents that sign up for your training programs. The business result of SEO is people signing up for your stuff.
Sure.
Right?
That's
the funny thing, Nick, is that even though you're the online video guy, helping real estate agents, the number of SERP features, so that this SF stands for search engine results pages, features. So when you do a search on school videos, then these are the different places it shows up. So it's not, a lot of people think that ranking and search is just, you rank 1 through 10 in the regular text search, but you can rank in so many different areas.
Right.
In news and LSA and videos and Twitter and, PAA. And most of these here, the irony is that maybe you have a site link or you have an image, but you don't have many videos. So the video is not, look, you're showing up in a PAA site link here, right?
Right.
And the reason why is when we look at these, there's no video on these pages. So there's nothing for, maybe there's a video. Oh, well, ideally have it like a YouTube, because then it's Google will see it, but they're not picking up these videos, right?
Okay. So if we switch those, because I don't remember where we have those stored, but yeah, if we put them on YouTube, you think that would help?
Wistia or Vimeo or whatever one you have there. Yeah. I think YouTube, even though you have less control with YouTube, you don't get quite the same level of analytics and all that. But if your goal is getting these, being more visible, and especially through Google and social media, then I think you should.
Cool. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So let me see. I got a couple questions for you from things you mentioned earlier, if you don't mind. The guest post, obviously it's a guest post. Am I writing it in their voice so they put their name on it, or should it be written as my name as the author?
You're the author because we want to establish you as because it'll say by Nick Niehaus, and then they create
they treat it as a guest
profile for you, which then also creates so you have, of course, one page for each blog post, but those all link to your Nick Niehaus profile on their site. But if they don't want to do that and that's too much effort, then fine, it can be under whoever their name is, right? But if it's under your name as an authorship, or it's also being called a contributor, it's just an extra bonus, because then if you submit multiple articles, they all link back to that profile.
Okay. And then in terms of like the page I link to there, does it matter which page I'm linking to? Should it always be related to the article? What's the best practice on that?
Either way, the whole point is to get a link in.
Just to get the traffic. Yeah. Just get the link. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Because the links you have, you can see, or, you have these two, and then after that, there's nothing. I mean, drunk social. I don't know if that's the thing you want.
Well, that's a couple of our business partners started a Facebook group, and they have another business around that name. So that's why that's showing up. But okay. Yeah. So it sounds like the
podcasts are going to be the easiest one. Because anyone who's a decently large podcast is going to have a decent amount of SEO, a lot of juice to pass through to you.
Yeah.
Like, the one with Tom Ferry and I, and that's a DR74.
Wow.
Or even, mine, this one's a DR60. Pantana is not as strong as he could be, but yeah, you can see these other ones, 91. We don't own Spotify, but that's a 95.
So what is 100 the max, or is that
100 max? So Google and Facebook are at 100. If you're a major media site, might be like a 90 plus. If you're a regional media site, maybe like 60 or 70. If you are a medium-sized business that's regional, maybe like 40 or 50. If you're a local business, a random real estate agent, like a larger brokerage, maybe like 20. And if you're just like a tiny local business, you're like a 10. That's it's an order of magnitude. So every 10 points is 10 times more powerful.
Oh, wow. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So we're way down at the bottom then.
My ebook site is a DR74. I've got 1 million visits a month that come to my site. It's the #1 ebook site. And I've got 4.5 million links. And it's a DR70. Yeah. So what we like to do is take webinars and whatever, turn them into books, and then publish them on my ebook site so I can link to them and then make them an author. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That way they get a DR74 link.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Pretty good.
So in terms of making the book, sounds like that's a relatively straightforward process nowadays. I was going to ask about kind of the complexity of becoming a published author. Yeah.
It's so easy. Yeah. Like if you go to Amazon, I don't know if I still have the best-selling book in social media, but Perry Marshall and I, you can see here's our ad, right? There's an ad. This, we interviewed the top people in TikTok, and there's a bunch of Zoom calls, and then we turned it into a book. So no one wrote the book, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And then we put it on Amazon, and we ran $1 a day against it to force it to #1 in different categories. I'm legitimately a best-selling author.
Yeah. Right? Wow.
And then this allows, when you show up for Dennis Yu, this shows up here as an author, and there's my book. So so you can see here, I'm categorized under writer. Easiest way to put your knowledge panels under writer. And I think the knowledge panel is more powerful than the blue check I've had the blue checks forever, for 15 years, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Right. And now you can buy it, which is a shame. But I think this is more powerful than the blue check.
Well, sure. I mean, I just visually speaking, obviously it gives you a lot more real estate and value than just having a check. So, yeah.
And like, Nick, check this out. So when it's a knowledge panel and you're authoritative and has like all this content, all these videos and articles and this sort of thing, right? Related searches, right? Always people ask about my net worth or Content Factory or, whatever. Right. But look up here. Look, it says Blitz Metrics.
Oh, yeah.
If you scroll further, like on mobile, it'll say like Content Factory. It'll say $1 a day. It'll say like other things. So the entire navigation is driven by our stuff. And it'll, like, this changes. Like normally it'll say like courses and other things here. Right.
Got it.
So cool. This helps with your brand. And therefore, when people do searches on your stuff, it's not just your content shows up more. Like, look, this is the $1 a day here. They're explaining $1 a day. Like, I've taught about this $1 a day. So this snippet is being pulled out within this PAA. And this all comes from webinars and podcasts and things like that I've done. Right. And then all the socials are linked together too, which you have only, I think, 2 socials with like YouTube and something. Okay. Yeah. YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So you can put a few more of them here.
Okay.
Yeah. So DR6 from not enough strong links, which cause you to rank only on these keywords. also because you don't have enough pages. You need to have like all your key themes. The reason people pay for training is because of access and structure. So it's not like there's anything secret in your video training. So just take some of the highlights of those and turn those into 1-minute trailer, basically, trailers that you turn into web pages along the most popular, common sorts of questions that people are asking. That's going to drive your SEO, right?
And then just sort of make each of those their own page there. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We could. We literally have like 100 hours worth of completely custom built webinar trainings that we could go through and cut, all kinds of stuff out of. And
or even simpler, every one of those webinars you can just turn into an ebook, or just take the top 4 or 5 of them. Enough meat.
Sure.
Or you'll find them, group them together by topic if you want to be fancier. But this doesn't have to be. This isn't like go through every single webinar you've ever done and like re-edit it.
Well,
like,
sure. Right.
It's there's software that does that too now. It turns them into, chapters automatically on YouTube, that kind of thing. You've seen these AI tools that do that, right? Crazy.
Yeah. Is there a point where there's too much, if you're just sort of taking everything and posting it, can you have like a low quality sort of overall if that happens?
The issue is not too much content. The issue is when you have 2 posts that are going after the same topic or same keyword.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But there's almost no, you should be, for what you do, you should be like 500 to 1,000 pages on your site.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. At least 100 at the minimum. And you're at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this doesn't have to be like super polished, fancy, whatever. Like you just need to get the stuff out there. Like my best performing videos are unedited and unscripted, where I'm ranting about this one particular thing. And then that's the thing people will watch, and people love to consume it that way, especially because 80% of the traffic's on mobile. You know how PAA works, right? So if I do a search for, real estate agent, video course, I don't know, training, something like that. I don't know. There's ads. Tom Ferry, all these guys. But then see this PAA, so you got to make sure you got 1-minute videos answering these questions, which you do. They need to be separated out into their own web pages. Every one of these things is a different question, right? And like, I know you've answered this question, right? But all these other people are,
right.
How many followers do you need? Whatever, right? So just instead of your stuff, like the trouble with a webinar or a podcast is it can wander around, and in the course of 45 minutes or an hour, you can cover like 10 things. So just chop them up. That's why I use Descript, chop them up, and then those become their own web pages, and you can enhance them with, where you've talked about this thing in other places and make it bigger and better. But you really just need to be able to separate these things out. So do that. Your SEO is done. You don't need to hire an SEO person or anything like that. It's pretty clear what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Yeah, when we're obviously doing a bad job, but it's good when the solution. No, it's not
you doing a bad job. You just weren't doing anything about it.
Well,
a job means that you're doing. Yeah,
sure. We're not trying. Not even trying.
Not even trying. So it's a DNF, not an F.
Right.
But the good news is it's easy. Super easy to do this. Just have a on your team and have them go through a content factory training or whatnot. It's super simple. There's everything we're talking about here is so easy.
Yeah, so Content Factory, I've heard a little bit about it, but so this is your training program, sounds like?
Yeah, and that's how we create jobs. So the whole thing is job creation, because I don't want to assemble IKEA furniture.
Sure.
Other people can do it. So here's the 4 stages of the Content Factory. You have produced all the content. You're in stage 1. So this is all the relationships, the training, your face, other people's faces. Then it gets processed through Descript and other tools, ChatGPT, whatever. So it can then be published to all these places at the same time. So some people call this repurposing or omnipresence.
Okay.
Because you can take the same thing and chop it up into different things to be on YouTube, Twitter, what I'm saying, right?
Right.
But because every channel is slightly different, you may need to process it. So you produce the content once. You don't produce content for YouTube or for TikTok or for whatever. You produce it once, and then it can be chopped up so they can live in the formats here, right? And then you do $1 a day against it.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the Content Factory, and we have training on how to do the whole thing. And tons of people from the Philippines, Pakistan, whatever, very happy, making $500 a month full time, which is $3 an hour doing this.
Right.
So I've demonstrated it because I've got lots of content, you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And with all these different people, which drive huge SEO for me, all these people. No, there's Tom Ferry. And then this lives according to the topics that I care about. Your topics are different than mine, because yours might be real estate, video, some of these other ones. but then you tie that to the people and the content that you've made and the snippets of those that you've chopped up that you're boosting. And now you have your content strategy that drives your SEO and social media at the same time. And as you make more content, it adds more and more to this topic wheel.
Cool. Yeah. I like that.
Have someone on your team, just ideally a VA, and this is all they do, and they manage this for you. I don't believe agencies can do this because agencies will, each person is trying to manage 20 clients and they're never going to be able to. You need one person who's just all about Nick Niehaus and that's it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a guy, we're kind of getting to that point on our team. So that would be perfect for him. Love it. Well, let me ask you this. What does it take to get you to come in and teach a class on this stuff for a group of folks? You got like a speaker fee or some sort of arrangement there? You ever willing to do that kind of thing?
Set up a webinar. I'll do it for free. What I want to see is that you live and breathe what we teach. I just love seeing practitioners because if we're doing a webinar or group coaching or whatever it is, and I'm showing my example, but you've not done it yourself, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm, like I don't believe in the fat weight loss coach, right?
Sure.
I'm a big fan of, because then you can say like, yeah, this is how we did it. This is where and it's not, I'm not looking for a testimonial. I'm looking for people to live by example. And then we can Google you and we can show that this is working. We can, look at your content. We can do searches on keywords that we want to rank on and we see that it's there and it's not magic. It's not like, oh, I hired Dennis to do SEO. No, Dennis gave me some advice on obvious things that I wasn't doing because I was busy doing all these other things. But, this is one thing we neglected and we put the structure in place for our content. Oh, shoot. Well, but I have a content calendar too. No, I'm not saying content calendar. I'm talking about the structure of your content. That way we weren't, I know you have structure in the courses, but the other stuff doesn't appear to have any structure.
Right.
And I want everyone to see that this is not magical. It's very straightforward. It's like going to the doctor, you get an MRI, take your blood, like there's no magic involved. Like it's like everything we looked at, there's no arguing any of it, right? It's factual.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just love to see people implement, and the people on the call, let's say it's real estate agents, I want to see them implement. I want to see them make a 1-minute video right now.
Right. Good. Me too.
Scary. Hold the phone at your face, selfie style. Just talk about what you had for breakfast, whatever. Make a 1-minute video, post it on TikTok.
Get it done.
Yeah. And then we'll evacuate. I just love seeing people take action. If you can get people to show up and get them to take action, I'm very happy about that. Because then I know the more video they make, the more VAs and young adults they need to hire.
Right.
Which is really what I'm going after. I'm trying to create jobs.
Cool.
But if these kids are VAs, if they're not trained, then they're going to do all this random stuff.
Right.
And I think you have training for it, I can tell, for the agents, but what about the training for the support people? That's where we're really putting our effort.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we gotta get a little bit better on our approach, I guess, and then we'll see if we can get you in for a training with the students at some point. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
love to. It'd be a lot of fun. I love seeing this. That's literally what my life's mission is, to create these jobs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and we get a lot of. There's, it's as the real estate industry, as these agents are kind of getting past this initial stage of just being terrified of video, and they're starting to realize like, oh, this is the tool, I can do all these things with it. We get a lot of questions about editing, and therefore VAs and kind of how to work with them, how to hire them, where to find them, so I could see that being, if we can get them implementing a system that they need the support for, then that creates the jobs.
I know the stereotype is the real estate agent, it's 450,000 in the US, and it's a 53-year-old mom that got her real estate license like everyone else.
Right.
And I know it's a stereotype, but she's not tech savvy. She's good at relationships and drives around and shows the houses, but she has a daughter or they have some young adult friend. And I know like not all old people fall in this bucket, but it's generally true. That's why the stereotype is there. Right.
Right.
Everyone knows some young adult that is good at social media and TikTok and this kind of thing. And we just want to give that young adult this training. And then that young adult, they're going to hire that young adult who's otherwise working at In-N-Out or doing whatever. Have a real serving people in their community doing this thing. It's a real need, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
Not a professional videographer, but someone who actually drives performance. Not making videos for the heck of it, but by following our process, it actually drives results.
Right.
It works. Wow, imagine that.
Love that. Cool. That's great. No, that aligns really well with, a lot of our values as well. So that's good to hear. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Well, any other questions?
Well, I think I'm a little past my time with you, so I don't want to take any more of it, but that was great. I mean, I got a lot of stuff answered here, learned a lot. So I really appreciate that. And I mean, yeah, is there anything I can do for you to help say thanks?
Make a 1-minute video about what you learned.
All right, perfect.
And then when you share that, I'll share it, which is good for everybody.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. You mind if let's do if I just take a quick picture here before we wrap up?
I'll give you this recording too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just snap one of these two.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. All right. Thanks.
Awesome, Nick.
Cool. Well, this was great, Dennis. Yeah, it was great to meet you as well. Actually, this kind of random, but I think I might have seen you in Vegas a few months ago. I was at a buffet back in like April, and I could have sworn it was you, but I didn't have the guts
might be. I love buffets, so yeah, it might have been me.
Yeah, I was there for speaking at a conference for the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services real estate business. So we stopped through. I'm drawing a blank on what buffet it was, but anyway, so it's good to finally actually meet you.
Awesome. Yeah, pleasure, and thanks for making a donation. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, good mission as well. So glad to hear about it.